gosh, I just, whew, my mind's like spinning right now, in a good way. I just listened to an Inner Circle audio, Tony Rush, and gosh, talk about inspiring. The things that he talks about, holy cow, just very inspiring. Yeah, where to start? I guess the big key that I take from all this, is that 95% of 95% of success, 95% of it is all mindset. It's getting focused and really focusing in on exactly what it is that you want. That's it. And if you can keep that focus for a duration of time, and take massive action, then things will just start to happen. And I've seen that I've seen that in my own life, prior to the market change in 2008. I was, heavily in construction, real estate, and I was, gosh, if I wanted to do something, I did it. Nothing stopped me. There was an investment property I wanted to buy, right? And I had 10 banks that said no. No, you can't qualify. You have to have more money down. I mean, just the list. But I was just so convinced I was going to buy it, and that no one was going to stop me. And finally, the 11th bank said yes, and it turns out I was able to buy, instead of one of these properties, I was able to buy two of them. And they ended up really helping us when the market did change. We had this investment this real estate investment that ended up really helping us a lot. So I felt that before, but ever since the market changed, I've kind of lost my way. I'll be honest. Been like, gosh, my confidence has been shot. But listening to these inner circle audios, it just is very, very inspiring, and I love underdog stories or movies where a person will rise up. They haven't been dealt the greatest hand in life, but they rise up and they make something of themselves. I know it's cheesy, but I really like that movie, Rudy. Rudy. Where he lives in that small town. His dad works at a steel factory, his brothers do, and one day as a small child he says, I'm going to play football for Notre Dame. And his brothers and his dad just laughed. They thought that's just hilarious because he was a small kid, and none of their family had ever gone to college. And so he said, "No, I'm going to." And so he eventually just took his fate into his own hands. Went against his family. I mean, his family thought he was crazy, and he took his fate in his own hands and did it. He did it. And he ended up graduating from college. His kids, his younger brothers and sisters ended up going to college, and he became very successful. So I love stories like that. But the last few years, my story's just been, it's just not, I haven't been the person that I have been in the past, and I've kind of lost my way, but listening to these inner circle audios, it inspires me, and it focuses me to remember back to when I had success and what I need to do to be able to do that. And the biggest key to me is focus. Not fear, but focus, and on exactly what it is that you want to do. And if you do that, then you won't keep flip-flopping between things. When you don't have focus, what I've noticed is you one day you're focused on one thing because, and the next day, you move on to something else, and the next day you move on to something else. You don't have this focus for a longer period of time where things start to happen within that. You end up just flip-flopping all over the place, and next thing you know, 6 months goes by and you're like, gosh, what have I done? So focus, I think, is huge, whatever it is you decide to do. So that's a huge key. So anyway, it just made a lot of sense to me. So there was another point I was going to make. The other thing too, I think, that I've really understood lately is the big question that comes to me is what do you want? What is it that you want? We live in America, and I kind of get overwhelmed a little bit with, in a good way, but with how many opportunities there are. There's so many opportunities. Literally, you can go to college, you can get grants, you can go to college, you can work in any industry that you want. The sky's the limit. But I get overwhelmed sometimes, and I kind of get paralysis where I'm like, where I just, So I think the huge thing for me has been asking myself, what is it that you really, truly want? What is it that you want? And when you really are honest with yourself, everything else melts away. Well, I want money, I want to be successful. Okay, well, that's so broad. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, I want my own business. Okay, we're getting closer. Okay, well, I want, so defining exactly what it is that you want is so key, especially, for me. But prior to the market changing in 2008 with construction and real estate, that's what I wanted. My dad came to me at one point and said, he was in another industry, and he said, "Hey, Ren, do you want to come work with me? There's all this opportunity." And I was kind of nervous to answer because I didn't want my dad to feel bad. But he said, "No, just be honest with me." I said, "No, I just don't want that, Dad. I want to go into construction. That's what I want to do." And he said, "Great." And so I went after that, with all the energy of my soul. I didn't have the greatest grades. People told me, you probably ought to not go to college. Just because, but no, out of spite, I did it. I graduated. I made it happen. My first job was a huge job, and I built very large commercial. Buildings, and made it happen. But so my focus was there. But when the market changed, I had it just wasn't there for me anymore. Building buildings and things just didn't matter so much to me anymore. It just there had to be something more. And so finding that purpose, finding whatever it is that finding what it is that you want to do is so huge, so that you can then focus all your energy towards it. And so, like David Wood, he mentioned this at one point, but so I have analyzed all the industries. I've looked at all the industries. I've looked at, I've been in construction, my own construction company, my own real estate company. I've had my own various companies. So I've looked at all the industries, and I've said, okay, out of all the things out there, do I want to have a job 9 to 5 working for somebody? No, I don't. I don't want to ask somebody if I can have a day off, or if I can go see my kids' recital. No. So it's come down to self-employment. and I've looked at all the opportunities and the capital associated to those opportunities. I've looked at, I'm talking everything. I mean, I won't even go into it, but, from selling computers to opening up your, a shop, to retail sales, to franchises, to buy a McDonald's franchise. I mean, it's huge capital to do that. To rentals, to own in real estate. I mean, that was what I was in big, but the capital in order to do that is huge, and the liability associated to that is huge. And if a mistake happens, you end up losing everything. If somebody sues you because, you're renting a place, they sue you, boom, you lose everything. I mean, so I've really analyzed it over and over in my mind, and it's all come down to the internet. It's all come down to the internet. How can I make money on the internet? Because the internet is the vehicle that how do I say this? That requires the least amount of capital, yet has the greatest amount of potential. The greatest amount of potential to make money. So how much does it cost for a web page? To have your own website. I mean, what, $5 a month? To buy a domain. It's like what, $15 a year? I mean, and who cares if the web business fails? I mean, what are you out? A few dollars. So it's all come down to the internet. How can I make money on the internet? Also with the internet, location where you live. I mean, it's huge. You can live anywhere anywhere. You're not limited to live into the city. And when you have the flexibility to live anywhere, the cost of living is much lower. We live in a very, very small town of 500 people, and the real estate market's not good here. But I'm able, you're able to buy a house for very, very cheap, because of the market, and buy a house that you want. And if you can make a living in a location like this, we live in the mountains. We live, my kids' classes, I mean, there's like 15 at the most people in their classes. They go to school 4 days a week. I mean, it's amazing. But without the internet, how does a person make a living in a small town like this unless they farm? So the internet, I can't say enough about the internet. So that's where I've come to conclude, is that it's on the internet now, and I've taken the last 3 years to sort through all this stuff about how to make money on the internet, and there's lots of ways. I mean, there's lots of ways to become successful. Many people are successful in many other companies, but out of my research, it's led me to Empower Network, where it's a step-by-step process, and it's you don't need to be a genius to be able to do it. Just follow the steps, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. And first get your mindset clear, get your mindset fixed, and then go out there and make it happen, and just follow the steps. So that's what I've learned. So I know that's kind of a long story. Hopefully all that made sense. But anyway, all the best to you in everything that you do. And we live in America, the land of the free, home of the brave, place of opportunity. And I really feel like if the focus is there, and you know what your desire is, then you can exert all of your action and all of your energy to hit that, and eventually you'll hit that bottom line. So, over and out.